Fantasy League Tips, 5 budget midfielders you need to pick. It's time to seriously start thinking about your fantasy football team with the new Premier League season just weeks away. And while every manager wants to pick the star names, the reality is that a strict transfer budget means you sometimes need to find a bargain or two to balance the books. Would you pick Chadli for your dream team? Dream Team 2017-18. How does the game work? This year's fantasy football game will be absolutely free for all players to play. The total prize pot is an approximated £750,000. Game weeks will run from Friday to Thursday. £50 million budget on 11 eligible players. Click here to sign up to Dream Team. We all know that picking a solid midfield is crucial to success on fantasy football, but what's sweeter than getting the very best out of a bargain signing who rakes in the points? Without further ado, here are our favorite cheapish midfielders on this season's game, guaranteed to rake in the points but importantly not break the bank. 1. Joe Allen, £20 million. We were pretty surprised when Liverpool sold Joe Allen to Stoke last summer. Want to play fantasy football? Sign up here. Despite being one of those players who often splits opinion, the Welshman had a fine season for the Reds and was an integral part of Wales' run to the semi-final of Euro 2016. And he flourished with the Potters, scoring 6 goals in the Premier League as he converted from a sideways passing anchorman to a dynamic box-to-box midfielder. He notched a decent 96 points on Dream Team 2, and is priced at just £20 million for the upcoming campaign. Well worth your small change. 2. Robert Snodgrass, £2. Robert Snodgrass is a proven goalscorer in the Premier League. Robert Snodgrass was the go-to bargain buy on fantasy football last season. The Scottish attacker notched 7 goals for Hull before joining West Ham in January in a tasty £10 million deal. Will Chelsea new boy Bakayoko take your fancy? One of the highest rated players in France last season, 7.26, higher rating than both N'Golo Kante, 7.23, and Vincent Wanyama, 7.21, scored crucial goal against Man City in Champions League last season. Fancy him for your dream team? Sign up now. His move to the capital didn't go to plan though, as he failed to find the back of the net for his new employers. But it's a new season, and Snoddy has had plenty of time to settle. And priced at just £2, 5 meters, and with a fine group of players around him, Snodgrass could once again prove to be a shroud signing for your dream team. Chadli joined West Brom from Spurs last summer. West Brom forked out a cool £13 million for Nacer Chadli last season, which turned out to be money well spent. He scored 5 goals and notched 5 assists for the Baggies, helping them consolidate a respectable 10th place finish in the Premier League. While he's not reaching the dizzy heights of some of his former Tottenham teammates, who's still a reliable points-scoring option and is an absolute steal at £20 million. 4. Tom Davies, £20 million. Tom Davies scored twice last season. Everton youngsters Tom Davies and Ademola Lookman shine an easy win v Man City. We sure do love this kid, and you should too. No one really knew who Tom Davies was this time last year, but in 12 months the youngster has established himself in Everton's first team and is largely considered one of the most exciting young midfielders in the league. If he manages to build on his fantastic season last term, then he could be worth a gamble at just £20 million. 5. Ander Herrera, £30 million. Ander Herrera often ran the show for Manchester United last season. That's right folks, one of the finest creative midfielders in the Premier League is an absolute bargain at £30 million. Pretty much Manchester United's most consistent performer last season, Ander Herrera has all the hallmarks of a world-class midfielder in the making. He managed 7 assists in all competitions last season and was heavily involved in United's Europa League and EFL Cup successes. You could certainly do a lot worse than having this guy in your team. How does fantasy football work? The setup for Dream Team is rather simple. As a manager you get a budget of £50 million to spend on your team of 11 players. Game weeks will run from Friday to Thursday this season and you'll be allowed to transfer out players who have already played in that game week. How did Pogba perform in fantasy football last season? 3rd highest rated player, 772, in the Premier League last season, behind only Eden Hazard and Alexis Sanchez. Consistent points scorer throughout the Premier League season, scored 236 points. Dream Team last season, the 3rd highest for a midfielder. Want him in your fantasy football team this season? Sign up now. Each manager gets a maximum of 3 transfers a month, so it's important to pay attention to upcoming fixtures. And if the incentive of beating your mates in our mini-league system isn't enough, there's a whopping £750,000 prize pot at stake too. Which fantasy football team names are the most popular? Team names have become almost as important as picking winning sides in recent years, with the punnier the better the general perspective. So whether it's La Luna in Pajamas, Giroud Sandstorm or Teenage Mutant Ninja Skrtel, take a look at our foolproof list to help you decide. What other games can I play? The standard Dream Team season game remains the bread and butter, but Dream Team Weekender and Dream Team Europe are also back in 2017-18. Weekender sees you pick 7 players from just the Saturday and Sunday fixtures on a weekly basis, with smaller cash prizes at stake. The Europe game will return, as normal, when the Champions League and Europa League reach the knockout stages in February 2018. Keep up to date with all the latest fantasy football news ahead of next season with our Fantasy Football Live blog and sign up to play below.